that. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yay!
Yay! Welcome back. Gabe, you've had an exciting few weeks since I've seen you.
Have I?
You had to do a fun in New York?
Oh, yeah. I went to New York.
You went to New York?
Yes, it was a blast.
Good.
It was a blast. Oh, we had so much fun. My clients out there surprised us with reservations to this comedy place called the Comedy Cellar.
I've been there.
No way.
Awesome.
And there's a surprise celebrity normally at the end.
Not when I went.
No?
But I do know, yes.
Well, 30 people in this room, right? And then Aziz Ansari comes out.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
He talked directly to me.
Shut up.
Yep, he did.
I'm so jealous.
So if there's a joke in his next special about only buying secondhand clothing and sweatshops and stuff like that, it had to do with me.
Wow. What a flex. Good. You guys had fun.
We had a great time.
It was purely fun, right?
It was so fun.
Great. It wasn't for work, is what I meant.
Well, I had one shoot.
That
was it.
It was pure fun, right?
It was pure fun.
I meant purely for pleasure, but you did have a shoot.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was fine.
But yeah.
It was a great time.
Good.
Anyway, so today we have a special guest, but I guess we should read a review first.
Wow, you didn't even ask how I was.
I know. I'm sorry. You know what, you guys? I just got really excited for our guest.
Wow,
today,
I don't even want to tell you.
So
how
Cammie,
I am now. Okay,
how are you?
Thank you for Thank you so much for asking. I'm doing really well. At the time of this recording, I survived.
Are you
October.
Okay?
No, today I'm just okay.
Okay.
I'm not even fake okay. I'm real okay because I survived what was the most challenging month of my whole life.
Okay.
And
of your whole life.
Of my whole hands down.
Yeah?
This was the hardest month of my life.
Okay.
Yeah, hands down.
Wow.
And
Look at you.
I remember our last episode because I was listening.
Your eyes are bright.
Oh my God, my eyes are brighter. Can you tell from the recordings, guys? I look a little more live today. But our last episode, I was like, I'm speaking to Cammie in the future that at the time that this comes out, you will have gotten through October.
I forgot about that.
And I did start crying when I was like, yay, Cammie from the past. You're right. We did it. We made it through.
Ghosts of Christmas Cammie.
Ghosts of Cammie's past. We did survive October. And here we are in November. Thank God October is over, is all I can say.
That's
how I'm doing. Thanks for asking.
You're doing okay.
I am doing real okay. Actually pretty good.
Yeah. Oh.
I can say that for the first time with confidence. I'm doing pretty good.
In a while.
Yeah. Okay, now we'll move on to review corner.
Yes. Okay.
And I'm excited about this one. This one's brand new. My favorite podcast, 5 stars.
Yes, of course.
And the name is just a bunch of random letters. Did
you write this yourself?
What if I just started writing reviews from random names? My favorite podcast.
It would be pretty easy to do.
Okay. Cammie and Gabe have made Tuesdays my favorite day to edit. My only wish is that there are more episodes. It's a perfect mix of education and entertainment. Literally what we set out to do. So
we'll be in Comedy Cellar soon enough.
Just talking about business. I love that they don't take themselves too seriously, don't hold back, and that listening feels like spending time with friends. Aww. I love that. Thank you both for taking the time in this busy year to share with us.
And that is the truth.
Slow clap for us. Thank you, whoever wrote that bunch of random letters. Tell us who you are.
There you go. Perfect.
All right, now, Gabriel.
Now that I have properly asked Cammie how she's doing, we've read our
manners.
Review.
Someone teach us voice of manners. Okay, now right. I'm gonna let you introduce our what we're doing today.
Okay, cool. So today we have a very special guest who also happened. I got to shoot her wedding a couple months ago.
And it looked awesome.
It was, let's just say, the best wedding experience of my life. Mean that. And so I actually, it's funny because when Felicia hired me, I was actually really intimidated because she's an extremely talented photographer, and she does just a totally different style of photography than I'm used to, or that maybe most of you listening are used to. So it just felt like a really, really big deal when I got hired, and I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like really intimidated. Like I gotta like do a really good job. I'm a little nervous to do a really good job. And then when I met them for their engagement shoot, immediately afterwards, I was like, oh, never mind. This is gonna be super fine.
That's the best.
Super easy.
That's the best.
So yeah, we have my friend Felicia Lasala here with us today.
Hello.
All the way from her loft in LA, in downtown LA.
Yes.
And yeah, we are just gonna pick her brain about who she is and what she does. And yeah, I think I'll just let you introduce yourself from there. So hello, Felicia.
What an introduction. Also, I can confirm everything he just said, he said in private to me. So that's true. He came home from that wedding and he was like, that was the best wedding of my life.
Oh, we partied till 2:30.
Yeah. Dude, so fun.
I had coffee with some of your wedding party the next morning.
That's the best when that happens.
Oh, I heard that too. I was like, no, that makes me so happy. Were you staying near to them? Like
we were in the same little thing, like this little cabin area.
That's the most beautiful part about that place. It was like everything was close. Was
yeah.
So
yeah. And I actually had no idea that I booked a place right next to it.
Oh, nice.
Everyone. Yeah. It just happened. Like
else.
everyone was right. There was nothing else. So you just.
Because we were literally in the middle of nowhere.
Oh my gosh.
Literally. Like everything in.
Yeah.
Where was it again?
It's in Mackenzie Bridge, Oregon. So it's like Central Oregon, like
that's right.
Yeah.
What's the forest that's next to it?
It's Willamette.
I did not know how to say that.
Cool.
Okay. Well,
backtrack.
Tell
us about you.
And then we can call you Faye, right?
Yes, you can totally call me
Faye and Felicia.
Faye.
I know. Nickname for Felicia. Who knew? I didn't know until her. So just tell us about who you are, what you do,
awesome,
how you got into it. I don't know, exciting things that have happened this year, aka wedding, so like stuff like that.
Totally.
Cool.
Well, as I said, I'm Felicia Lasala.
What a name.
Thank you. I didn't want to change my name. But I have Schmidt at the end now. So I was like,
Schmidt.
So it's Lasala Schmidt.
It's Lasala Schmidt, but
awesome.
Keeping it for the business. Anyways.
Love that.
Of course.
Yes, of course. I've been down in LA shooting for about 9 years. I went to this amazing school called Brooks Institute of Photography in Santa Barbara. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but
no,
only because of you.
It was dope. It was amazing. Like couldn't have made better connections.
How big is it?
It was really small and they did close about a year and a half ago.
Oh,
I know. Private schools tend to, it's hard to make it in California.
Yeah. Geez, wow, that's crazy.
I know. We had like a little memorial. We're like, it's gone.
Oh
my God.
Like, it was the perfect. Like, I know, it was like photo school, Santa Barbara. Like, how do you beat that?
That's awesome.
Literally, how do you beat that?
Wow.
But that's actually where Jake and I met. We became friends there, and then
amazing.
The rest is kind of history.
Precious.
Obviously, we got married this year. Finally. Yes. But anyways, I shoot a lot of fashion and editorial in LA. So how I got started, actually influencers. So I took a job that my friend from Brooks referred me to and showed up, and it happened to be a couple influencers, and it just kind of spiraled from there. Like literally just every day of the week I was out on the streets of LA shooting and hanging out with them, going to events, going to Fashion Week. And so that's how I got my start there.
Wow.
Just basically being ready and like hanging out and making sure that you make a good impression. And it was awesome. It was
you're where you are because of networking.
Exactly. Very much so.
Did you always know you wanted to go the fashion editorial route?
I didn't really, and this is going to sound weird, but I didn't really have any expectations coming to LA. LA was not necessarily like my first choice of where to go after college. But Jake was down here. A few friends were coming down here. I was like, let's take a whack at it.
Yeah.
And I started off, working 2 days a week at a photographer that I had done an internship with. And then the rest of the time I was just networking and shooting myself.
Cool.
Yeah.
And how long ago was this when you first got your like first influencer gigs?
Gosh, 2013.
Okay.
Whoa.
When did Instagram start?
2012 or 2011. I remember
Right?
having it in
Okay.
like 2012, I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it just kind of
was a while
happened.
back.
And so where did you see yourself like going? That was in LA. Where was the plan?
The plan was maybe like, I grew up outside San Francisco, so I
Got
always,
it.
kind of envisioned that, or maybe even like Chicago,
Uh-huh.
because my dad's side of the family is from there. But then it just kind of happened. It was like I was slowly making my way down to Southern California.
Yeah. And do you
So-
feel like like LA was like the right place to be for this type of stuff?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. I think, a lot of my friends tried out New York. And it's a little bit more nitty gritty. It's a little bit more like you work under a photographer for a really long time. And then you kind of like, and everyone seemed to get depressed in the winter there.
I mean,
I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, so I can confirm.
Yeah. So like people like I got a little depressed, especially coming from Santa Barbara and like warmer climates. They were just like, oh my gosh, I have to go to work and it's snowing.
Yeah.
And I have to take this up,
And it's not even cute snow. It's like,
and it's slushy and it's weird.
Slushy
and,
dirt,
essentially.
essentially.
Yeah. Essentially it's, it looks like crap. So
yeah,
it
does literally. And there's probably some mixed in.
There's probably some mixed in and it's not great. But
I went to New York one time and it was snowing. And so that's why I say all this. Because I thought it was going to be so like romantic and cute. And then I was like, this is slushy.
And it is. It is. Like, but with like, slushy.
When you go at the right time.
Yes, exactly. What you did. Like,
yes, we went perfect time.
Yes.
It was the 70s the whole time we were there.
Oh, amazing.
I know. Very lucky.
Gorgeous.
So tell me more, I guess. So you said that you weren't necessarily looking to get into this specifically. Is that what you said? I'm blanking.
No, not necessarily. I had done a lot of like fine art portraiture before I had come down here. So I kind of envisioned something similar.
Okay.
And then once I kind of got into the whole fashion realm, I was like, oh my God, this is one, you can, bop around the city, have fun with it. Like, produce your own editorials. And then also too, like, I can do the fine art portraiture on the side and actually, make the moolah and like hang out with some fun new thing.
Totally.
So that's kind of how, I didn't really pursue it, and it just kind of I don't want to say fell into my lap because I worked really hard for it.
No.
But
the idea
the universe was like speaking to me. It was like, no, this is something that you want to do and it's going to be great.
So those first like influencer gigs you did you seek those out specifically for like, this is maybe the kind of work I'm interested in? And also, did you do those for free, or like at that point were those influencers paying you?
Oh, that's a great question. I tried as hard as I could to do nothing for free.
Great.
I basically had done a ton of internships when I was in school. So I was like, that was my free work.
You've done the free work.
When I've done the free work, when I get down here, like, I at least I'm going to get an hourly rate, even if I'm editing for free or like, but at least there's that,
Right.
So I basically just, set a standard like hourly rate, and, they were at that point, it was, on the up and up of influencers. Like,
right.
You could find them like a lot of places in LA.
And
most of the time, all they did was like tagged you on Instagram, or they would like put you in their blog. And then that was just kind of how it happened. And no one really questioned or asked for free.
That's amazing.
At that point.
Good.
That is amazing.
Because it was like the right time.
It was the right time.
Because I've worked with bloggers, like especially when I was starting. One of them was my best friend, so I was like just starting photography, so I was doing it for free. And then that got me more influencers who were trying to get me to do work for them, and none of them had an expectation of payment. Like it was like, this is for free because I will credit you.
Because you'll credit. Yes. No,
right.
I didn't really take that as an answer.
I love you.
It's not where I'm at. Now,
I don't take that as an answer?
But anyways, like there was, other times where something would present itself, like going to Costa Rica. obviously I'll come shoot for free if you're taking me and paying for the whole trip to Costa Rica. I did the same thing with Paris. I did the same thing with Mexico. So there's certain things that you're like, oh no, like I'm benefiting from this one.
Opportunities.
So like travel photography for myself. And then also to just, you're paying for the whole free, it's like a free trip.
No, totally.
You know? So chronologically speaking, then what was like your first like brand deal? Do you remember what like the first one was?
Oh yeah. My first one, actually what's really exciting is, you know, as you know, people grow, like, and same thing with, as my clients grew, they decided to have businesses of their own as well, and brands of their own. And so my first one was Shop with Belen. And so she has like a really beautiful, like basics, like company. So lots of gorgeous, like white and black t-shirts. Sometimes she gives pops of color. So I started to do her studio and editorial work for that brand. And then, you know, progressively, like Savon, she has Luxe Unfiltered and Shop Tan Lines, you know, they just all started to create their own brands, which was really fun. And then in turn, after, you know, me posting and them posting, then I started to receive other brand work like Dermaflash and Click and all these different types of smaller, but really, really intricate like brands, which is so fun to work with a small brand because they kind of collaborate with you in the creative and like, you know, it is a little bit of a smaller budget, but it's a lot of fun, you know, like you really get the essence of the brand.
Totally.
Oh, I love this.
So really it all like just everything kind of evolved with you, like as your clients grew from before you grew with them. And then it just turned into, again, another opportunity you weren't necessarily like looking for.
And I mean, most of my clients I've been with since 2014 or 15.
Wow.
So just, you know, loyalty and like really, really like giving it your all to your clients.
Of course.
Wow. Of course. Cool. Is there like a brand that stands out to you that you were like, oh man, this was like such a sick gig? Like one that maybe felt like a milestone. Like,
totally.
Oh, have I made it when I did this, you know?
Yeah, totally. And actually that was kind of like my introduction into beauty work too, because I absolutely love shooting beauty. I need to shoot more of it. I just think the lighting and just the creation of the face is just awesome. Plus I get to throw in florals, which I love as well. But it was last year with, you know, kind of mid-pandemic. It was like my first job after we, you know, still weren't really supposed to like, but technically wearing masks outside, smaller, you know, like 5 to 6 people. But we it was so awesome. It was for Luxe Unfiltered. And this was one of my first jobs, like bringing Jake in and kind of being like, let's like really like amp up this style and create it as a team. And then we brought our good friend Jordy, who's an amazing lighting tech. And we just really crushed it. Like the shots that we got from it are amazing. And it was for, you know, her new face drop product number 12. And it was just dope. Like,
oh my God, cool.
Just beauty shots, like having fun with light. And like, you were just like, this is what I want, you know? Like,
I love that.
No, just like natural light, or like, I just want to create imagery with a team always. And team's really important, you know, like you guys experience that with, you know, whoever you hire for your second shooter. And I'm sure just even like creating a space where you have that solid like group. And again, they're all people I've known from Brooks, which is just so important to like find that community, like, and stick with it.
Wow.
So since then, have you done a lot more, I guess, beauty work similar to that, teamwork because of that shoot?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. I would say that they're one of the brands where people seek me out for that type of style, which is just so awesome. Like,
hell yes.
You know, like that's the one thing I like about Instagram and just being a part of a social, you know, sometimes it can be tough, but we don't want to run our own Instagram.
Wait, so let's back up for 1 second. What does Jake do, or what did he do for that shoot?
Okay, so Jake has worked in the industry for about, oh gosh, how long has he been down here? Like 12 years? Like it's been a while.
Okay, cool.
But anyway, so he first started out as a lighting assistant, and then so he worked for David LaChapelle and a couple other like big names down here, Mark Seliger, all those like, you know, crazy old photographers that are awesome. And so he started there and then decided to get into digital teching. And basically what that is he runs the computer, the coloring, all the files are being tethered into his computer. And
Like
so
when the shoot's happening?
Yeah.
Whoa.
So we're tethered to a computer. And so the client and us are like looking, what do we need to change? And then he's coloring on spot and exporting the files and doing, you know, making sure focus is good.
Whoa.
All that jazz.
Wild.
As
Yeah,
like a
it's
wedding
wild.
photographer, that like, I think this is like a whole nother level of production.
I
Like,
know.
wow, this
I
is
know.
crazy. This is so cool.
I definitely would suggest like for you guys to even, Gabe, when you're like in your studio, like just tether to the computer.
Yeah.
Like, and check it out. Like, I don't know if that's something that you do on a normal
It's not,
basis.
but I know how.
That sounds
don't.
fun.
I know.
It is. It's really fun. You catch things that you normally wouldn't. So say like, you know, because you can see it bigger. And
Yeah.
It's definitely more informative. So you're not making the mistakes like while you're shooting, like you're fixing them while you're shooting. But it's awesome. So that's his job. And so he did that in a lot of entertainment, and he worked a lot with Nike. And he works for like Duluth Trading Co., which is like basically the REI of the Midwest.
Cool.
So I kind of snatched him and was like, you want to, you know, come help me with that?
Yes.
And he was like, yeah, definitely. So we started out like small and kind of getting our clients into it. Because, you know, it's definitely, you know, coming as a package team that can be like very intimidating to people. But then once they see it, they're like, oh, why have we not done this the whole time?
Yes.
You know? So yeah, it was really cool. But I definitely recommend trying to tether one day.
We should experiment with
We
this.
should.
You should experiment.
Studio.
This sounds
totally
really
should.
fun.
Yes.
Do you use him for almost every shoot now?
Yes. As much as I can. Obviously, like he has other clients too.
Right.
So I have a few backups as well.
Okay.
So, you know, that's kind of the freelancing system, right? Like
Right.
It's them on the hold first.
Yeah.
You know, or has the most days. So say I need him for one day, but then he gets a job for like 7 days. It's like, take the 7-day job.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Totally.
Okay,
So,
cool. So
yeah.
what he does for you is also he does freelance for other people.
So he
and
has
stuff too.
his own business, and then I have
Awesome.
mine. But like we like to, a lot of our clients really enjoy that we're a team. You know,
Yeah, of
it's the
course.
whole, like, you know, wifey hubby.
Of
vibe,
course.
like,
They
you
love
know.
that. People
They
love that.
it. People love it. Yes.
You're
yes.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so much
They
fun
dig
how
that.
many times we've been on set where it actually is a couple that is
Oh,
band
okay.
as well. So
Okay.
it's just kind of
Cool.
it's really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Give
my
you something
God,
to be
so cool.
relatable about too. Yeah, no, I'm
Mhm.
sure that's cool.
Yeah.
How are you? You said you were earlier. I think you said you were shooting every day. Are you shooting almost every day right now?
October was insane. So
Yeah.
yeah. It's like, you know, it's holidays. People need to sell stuff before, you know, like Black Friday.
That's a great point.
So, or like get it up. So yeah, it's definitely been a crazy, crazy time. And then obviously we took like pretty much all September off to get married. So
yeah,
people are like,
so catching up from that too.
Catching up for sure. But I try to keep it under 5 days a week shooting, because if I go 7, it's a lot.
And how long are the shoots lasting?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Either a half day or a full day. Half day run 5 hours, and then a full day is 10 hours.
Oh my. I'm starting to be like, why am I not capable of shooting more than like 2 weddings in a week? Like, why can't I shoot that many days in a row and not go insane? I mean, it's different work. It's not
weddings are a different animal.
Yeah.
I did 4 this year, and
you did? I was gonna ask if you've ever
exhausted after. Like,
okay. So the energy output is different.
Yes and no. But like, you know, for more of my full day shoots, I do have a team working with me. And then, you know, you can come home, go to sleep. Usually with weddings, I'm traveling, you know, you're honestly exhausted.
Yeah.
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 And it's a lot more wrangling instead of, you know, just here's your beautiful model, here's your team, you know.
Are you finishing shoots as you're shooting them? So like, for example, you're saying it's like a full day, right? So, and then Jake is doing all of the color rendering and stuff like that. So like, does that mean that like the full day is pretty much your full job with them?
Oh.
Like, are you,
no,
or do you still have edits to do and stuff like that?
So so then there's the process of selection. So then they'll select the images that they want. And then I'll send it off to my retoucher. So I do have like a little bit of like a back end, but it's not as much as like, you know, actually having to edit the photos. I used to, and I would be up until 3 a.m. and then go to my next shoot at 8, which is something you have to do when you're building a business.
Right.
But it is so nice to like now have the retoucher and like all the different assistants. So
wow, cool.
It's a good point. So it's amazing.
Okay, well, can you walk us through?
You're such a boss.
Yes, she is.
Just let me say you're such a boss. We love you. Bow down.
You're gonna make me blush.
Bow down to say, get it.
I have a crush on you. I'll say it.
Okay, thank you. You're real cute too.
We love you.
Oh my.
Can you show me your tattoos, babe?
Me?
Yeah.
Which ones?
Yeah. Like, let me
All
just
of
see
them.
the arms.
Oh, so I've got some over here.
Beautiful. You do color really well.
Oh, thank you. I've got some.
What's your favorite?
My favorite is probably my camera on my forearm.
Oh my God, beautiful.
Thank you. And I have a really large elephant on my thigh. Which sounds inappropriate the way I said that.
Yeah, definitely
She's
not.
got a big old trunk.
I've got a big old
you got
trunk on my leg. And I love that one. I just can't show you because I'm wearing jeans.
Is that your favorite animal?
It was for a very long time.
Okay.
Yeah,
We switched it up. What do
yeah,
we
I don't
like
know.
now?
So, I really love dolphins.
But me too.
They're just so happy, and they're
so smart.
They're so smart. They just like do it for pleasure all the time. Good for them.
One of the only ones.
I have my favorite animal on me right now.
Oh, I love that. Wow,
that was my favorite growing up too.
That was so subtle. I didn't even notice.
I know.
That.
I didn't notice either.
Cute.
Yes. Thank you. Well, another inciting fact, Jake took me to China right before the pandemic happened, and we volunteered with the pandas. Yeah, so it was dope.
That's the cutest thing I've ever heard.
To say the least.
To say the least, the best Christmas present I've ever received in my whole entire life.
Oh my gosh.
You're like, okay, let's get married.
Really
Fine.
Well, like, okay, I'll marry you. Okay.
Like, I guess.
I was on the fence before.
Yeah, and now you took me to China to see my favorite animal.
Oh my God. Wow. Amazing.
Oh, that's amazing.
Speaking of tattoos, people who listen to this podcast, I got the tattoo on my hand that I said I was going to.
She did.
In the podcast. I forgot to say that when you asked how I was doing. There's like a list of things. I was like, Gabe asked me about this, but you didn't.
But I didn't.
In our Take a Risk Bitch episode, we just talked about how like I try to like use the sentence like, but what if it works out? Like as a way of like reframing like anxiety spirals. And so I got that on my wrist just last week.
Beautiful
handwriting. But what if it works out? Thank you. It was a font from DeFont. It wasn't like a special handwriting or something.
Hey.
So anyways, the solid
they
listeners
have every font known to man there.
I know. So the loyal listeners who made it like halfway into this episode, I got the tattoo that I said I was going to in episode 29.
And it looks great.
It looks so cute. I
feel like you guys are both addicted to tattoos, and I love it.
Yeah.
It took me a while to get addicted to them. Cami has been for a while.
I'm hard addicted.
Yeah, sure.
Hard addiction.
Like,
yeah. Okay, we got a little off track.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
No, don't ever apologize. No. You're our queen.
You're our queen.
You're our queen.
Thank you.
Wow. That all started because I said I had a crush on you.
Yes.
Okay.
So I was gonna ask.
What were you gonna ask?
I want you to walk us through like the average day on set. So like what does that look like?
Well, first, it starts with pre-production.
Okay.
So I'll obviously like get contacted by the client. We'll get a day set aside. If they want creative, we'll both work with creative together, mood boards, set building. Jake and I really like to use our hands. And I also have a floral business with one of my other best friends. So we do that. That's what we majorly want to do is like set design. So we just started like a year and a half ago. So yeah, just making that happen. Anyways, sidetrack. Basically, you know, wake up in the morning, grab coffee, pack up the car with all the equipment, which usually tends to take about 2 hours. And then we'll show up to set and then, you know, get there, get acquainted with the space, or we'll do a location scout beforehand. And then we show up, model shows up, hair, gets in hair and makeup. And then me, the assistant, and Jake will start to build the lighting and the set that we want. And then we'll shoot and then have lunch and then shoot again. And then we'll be done after 10 hours.
And then are they selecting images that day?
Sometimes if they need rush images, otherwise they'll select afterwards. Like they'll either bring a hard drive or I'll upload to Pixieset, and then they'll choose their selects from there.
And how far in advance are these getting booked out? Like, are you booked out for like a year or 6 months or a month? Like, what's the
usually a month? It's kind of it's fast paced.
That's fast.
A lot of clients, you know, they're creating these, you know, amazing products, and especially this year, it's been really hard to get them into the country sometimes, or just the you know, the development isn't as fast. So they'll be like booking really close, and sometimes I get it 2 weeks out. And
wow.
So like, here we go.
Do you ever deal with a spiral of like, what do I do if my month doesn't get booked out? Because like for me as a wedding photographer, one of the only anxiety comforts I have is that I can like look at my next year of work and be like, I'm booked out for a year. Thank God.
No, that's amazing. I've never had that. I've never had that comfort.
How do you live with that?
I
would not do well.
Here's my I don't know phrase.
But it always works.
No, it always works. There's an ebb and flow. LA is an amazing place for that. Like, you know, just when you think you're going to have a week of nothing, like this week, I'm booked every day. Wow. So you just, people reach out and you just kind of have to stay really, really positive. Don't get down on yourself. And there's obviously so much work I can be doing in my office every day that doesn't get done if I don't have something, you know? Yeah. So, you know, I think it's just more staying positive and knowing that you can reach out to other people. Like, don't just let yourself, you know, get into a hole of like, oh, what if I don't get work? There's plenty of brands you can reach out to via Instagram or even email and just do cold calls. Wow. Like, I feel like that's kind of become like an obsolete thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. People need to just say, hey, like, what's up? You know, do you want to,
how often do you do that?
Together? I try and do it once every like 2 months if I'm not really, you know, being as busy as I should be. But I haven't done it this past year. So
which is a good sign.
You haven't needed to.
You haven't. Which is amazing to say. But at the same time, like it's definitely like a really, really good tool to use, is just always reach out and see if, you know, an exciting brand, which I have a list now going of brands that I do want to reach out to that, you know, are kind of like my, you know, top, like would want to work with.
Totally. Cool. As you should. Yeah.
So.
Can you grab your charger?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't want my computer to die.
Oh, stressful. Oh my God.
Yeah. Be like, okay, bye.
Like, oh, whoops. It cut off. Okay,
didn't want
that's
to talk to you anymore.
really cool. So, are you cool with sharing like how you work out like your packages and pricing and stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, it varies.
Yeah.
It
Like
definitely
what?
varies.
So, I mean, obviously there's like different factors and stuff like that, but like,
Sure.
is there like a basic, like, okay, like 5-hour, half day is this, full day is this. If you want me to do set creation, blah, 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 plus, just kind of how do you just work out pricing for people? Cause that's just a whole, new ballgame for all of us too.
Definitely. So, if you're running like a full like 10-hour day, you're going to have the photography rate, which is, mine ranges right now from 1,500 to 2,500.
Okay.
And then I have my digital tech, which is Jake, and that's including his gear. So when you hire a digital tech, it's them as a person and their day rate, which is usually like 600 to 800, depending. And then it's also their gear, which also can be from like 300 to 800, depending.
To rent out.
Yes. So gear comes with like the monitor, laptop, tethering, essentials, iPads. I mean, one of my favorite things is when he pulls out all his iPads. It's dope because like he'll be at his, station with the laptop, and then I get an iPad and the client gets an iPad, and the images are coming straight to all of that. So like as I'm shooting, I'm seeing it on my iPad, the client's seeing it on there, which is a great thing. Also, it's really fun. But which is an awesome thing too, when we were going into like COVID and stuff, because everyone can kind of be separated and like have their own little.
It's not everyone like
areas
huddled
for
over
it.
a laptop.
Huddled over exactly. Which makes, it easier, but it's also just really fun.
Yeah.
Like, can I have it on all shoots?
Yeah.
So that's what that ranges for. Assistant, like lighting assistant, ranges from like when you're a little bit more green, like 250 to 300. Or if you're very advanced, it's about like, I know some lighting techs that can run to like 700 to 1,000, but usually living in the range of like 500. And then you have lighting, which depends on the job. So, I mean, a big studio job with a lot of lighting, you can get up into the range of like, gosh, most of our like beauty jobs are around like 650 for lighting. But again, that depends on what you're renting, because each individual thing is a certain price. I know we were talking about lighting with you, Gabe, a little while ago, but like when you start to rent out those pieces, you individually like price them so that when people come in, they're like, I want this, this, and this. And then that's the lighting cost.
Interesting.
And then, retouching is separate. So it depends on if it's beauty retouching or if it's just, cleaning up background. And usually that can range from like 125 an hour to like 40 an hour. And then what am I missing? Let's see. Oh, studio rate. So depending on what location you're shooting at, or if you're coming in here. So like in here, we do like 750 for the day. So that would also be on top of that. So that's kind of
it's a lot of moving pieces.
It's so many moving pieces. Yeah.
It's so many moving pieces. It's a lot of back and forth too, on estimates, because, depending on the budget of the client or what they can actually, create in that space. But yeah, that's kind of like the breakdown.
So are you, as the photographer and creative director, are you the one that's like, hey, this is the quote, and then you pay your assistants, you pay the lighting people, like you kind of handle it all, you're the one-stop shop?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's not it's not common all around the board in LA. Sometimes the producer will, if it's like a bigger job, they'll hire everyone individually.
Got it.
And pay for lighting themselves. And then I would just handle like my rate and maybe my assistant's rate.
Got it.
But there are different cases. But in my case, yes, like I'm getting paid, and then I have, I pay my freelancers on top of that.
Cool.
So, yeah.
And I'm sure that's a very attractive thing that you offer. Like it's nice that you are handling all of it.
It is. It's definitely, they don't have to go out and find, I want to work with my team anyways.
Right.
And then they don't have to, they can just do it in one bill instead of it, you know.
Which is so nice.
Here's-
Oh, that would be
this
so
payment,
much more
here's this payment.
relaxing.
Does it make my taxes a little more difficult? For sure. But
Yeah.
that's why.
Worth it.
Yeah, worth it. Just lots of write-offs, if I could say anything.
Oh,
Yeah, for sure.
Lots of write-offs.
gosh.
For sure.
How, because to me, I feel like obviously like getting into being like a wedding photographer, there was a lot that went into it and a lot that we learned, and like, you know, we wear a lot of hats and stuff like that. And like,
yeah, you have to be the planner sometimes. If
yeah,
you're a planner,
not anymore, thank God.
Yeah. You're like, do you have a planner? You must have.
Pretty much. Pretty much, yeah. So that is obviously like we wear a lot of hats and we like figured a lot of things out that probably like people don't really think about when they get into the industry. And same thing for this, you know, obviously like everything that you just listed, I'm like, I know that it was more difficult with lighting, like to figure all that out. Like, I know that like you have to figure out all of these moving parts and stuff like that. Totally. Do you, when you were first getting into it, was it like extremely overwhelming? And like, did it take you a long time to really, now you're at a point where, you know, it's, you can do it like, it's the back of your hand. Like, it's like literally a piece of cake, right? Like if this is what you do every day.
I'm, you know, as still growing as a business, I would say it hasn't gotten to a piece of cake yet.
Okay.
What's hard with all these like moving parts is, I guess, you know, kind of referring to something that I wish I would have told my younger self too, which is to price out everything at first and not give like lump sums to clients and get locked in to those prices.
Okay.
Basically, you know, when I was starting out, I was like, all I want to do is like try and make this better for them instead of how do I do it accordingly and then present it to them. So what I mean by that is when you get stuck into a price point with certain people and the idea of it, but trying to show them something really cool, I highly recommend, you know, showing the price point and then giving them the discount instead of showing them the discounted price just to get them interested. So it's kind of like a sales tactic. Like if you're going to get into this thing and you want to show off your style, I would do that. Like I would find out all your pricing first, especially for your lighting, especially for your team. And then I would show them, but we can do it for this price just so you can see what's up. So never selling yourself short really is what it is. That happened to me a lot, and I've gotten locked into certain things that are hard to get out of. So you don't want to ever pigeonhole yourself in that. So any advice would be like price out everything that you have, including lighting, your photo team, yourself.
And like present that to them so they understand.
Present that to them so they understand the total cost and like what it's going to be like if you're going to go for this. But since, you know, you're in a budget, here's what I can do for the first time around or the second time around, depending on like what we, you know, create. Because then they'll get locked in, then they'll get it. And then it's an exciting, you know, piece.
Yeah.
So you just, you know, during the, why are we whining?
I don't know if you can hear, my dog just settled onto the couch a little bit ago and she's been snoring. And so I was like, I don't know if the mic can pick up
I couldn't hear it.
I can't hear it. I can't.
Okay.
No.
So your little pups just making, they're like, we want to be on the podcast too.
Yeah, I know. You're so beautiful.
They really are, aren't they?
Got it. But yeah, I would definitely, if you're gonna, you know, try and, you know, go into this world of, you know, editorial fashion, just make sure you have everything across the board ready. And you're still going to learn. I'm learning every single day.
Right. Of course.
Every job's different. So it does make it exciting, but it also makes it hard. Like, I know you guys can just like send out your PDF and like, this is what it costs. And I mean, I'm sure you guys get people like, can you do it for this or that? But
the moving parts, like
we don't have that many moving parts.
We don't have very many moving parts, especially Cammie and I, like the way that we structure our packages are very like,
it's beautiful.
This is it. And so like, it's not, I like thinking about everything that you just said. I'm like, oh my gosh, like that sounds like the job that a wedding planner does for their clients is like, hey, like you hired me. So now this is what everything's going to cost. You're looking for this, blah, blah, blah. And
absolutely, that's
it's
a great
like
way to
something you
put
don't
it.
think about it. Yeah.
That's a great relation. So you basically become a producer / wedding planner.
Right.
Yeah.
And some people have, you know, people do it for them. I'm hoping to find a business manager that can do that for me.
I was going to say, is it common for the photographer to be doing this part?
Usually it would be a producer, but since I am with smaller brands and I'm growing my business, or it would be the agent. And still considering that, but they do take quite a bit of percentage, but I obviously know that they get you bigger jobs. So that's great. So definitely looking into that. But at this point, it becomes you, because you're the one that they're reaching out to, and you have to give them the estimate, the proposal, you know, what the day is going to look like.
Do you enjoy the producer role?
If I'm being truly honest, I enjoy the creative part.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not
not the planning part.
I'm not, you know, I don't think anyone likes to talk about money, even though we love money. It's just always like a hard struggle, because you know what you're worth, but then, you know, people can, and I always wanted to do one of those like day in the life, like Instagram things. But, you know, obviously a little too busy for that, but I want people to see, like, you know, it's not just when you show up on set. It's, you know, here's the back end. And just like when you guys like import all your 6,000 photos, it's like, people are like, oh, well, I only have you for 8 hours. And you're like, no, we import the photos, we, you know, create this. And then it's also my artistry. It's your artistry. So, you know, you definitely want to like portray that to people, but you know, they're just like, oh, we get you for like 10 hours and that's it. Like, why would you be any more? So that's always like a hard part for me. I'm like, no. We're going to talk about this.
Do you get much creative freedom? Like when you're working with these brands, do you feel like what is the balance of like how much control they have? Cause it's their brand. And I recognize it's their brand and it should be their brand and their vision should be carried out. But like, you know, how often, I guess just like normally, how much creative freedom do you feel like you have?
I would say that it depends on the brand. You know, I feel that most of the time I do actually have a really good amount of creativity. Or during the day, I'll say, can I try this? You know? 9 times out of 10, it works. It's amazing. And then sometimes it doesn't, and that's okay. I'll get a few images for myself, and then, you know, the rest is like on brand for them. But truly, like, I feel like, you know, when they come for your style, when a brand comes for your style and, you know, like really wants you to shoot it, there is a sense that like, I do feel very fulfilled in that, because that is a part of my creativity. And it's fun to have all different brands so that you can kind of, you know, spice it up a little bit here and there. I have found like a lot of my brands do want to be very neutral. So sometimes that can be like a little hard for me, because I do want pops of color and I like want to hang out with that. But, you know, that's what you do tests for, you know, like pretty much shoots that are just for you, which are amazing. I recently
do you do those often?
I'm moving into doing them more often for sure. Because I need my creative juices. So I've done like about 2 this year, and I've been like ultimately like satisfied across the board with it. You know,
amazing.
Good.
It'll just be like Jake, me, a model, like a stylist, and you know, hair and makeup, and it is just beautiful. Like you play with light. And the cool part about that is, as you're playing with the light, people are seeing what you're doing and they're like, I want that for my brand. So I would like that lighting for my brand. I want this. And you're like, cool, let's do it.
And that's like, that's the best part of doing personal work like that. Like it gives an example to be like, this is what we can do.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's awesome. No, it's great.
Cool. How do you market yourself?
That's a super good question. Most of the time it's on Instagram.
Great. It's like Instagram and word of mouth, it sounds like.
Yes. Yeah. Instagram, word of mouth. I actually, this is going to sound terrible. I haven't had a website since 2015.
Whoa.
So this is literally all Instagram and word of mouth. I basically just haven't had time for it. Hold on one sec, guys. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
My text messages has a noise. Do you guys know how to turn that off?
Yeah, I do, but I'll tell you after.
Okay, just I'll let it ride.
Let it chime.
Yeah. You can't hear the chime, right? It's just me.
It's not a big deal. Don't even worry about it.
Sorry. Yeah, like look at me. Haven't zoomed in a while. So, but basically, where was I?
You haven't had a website.
You don't have a website.
I haven't had a website since 2015.
So you have your email on your Instagram account, and then people DM you. Is it pretty much one of those options?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I prefer if they email me, obviously, because DMs can get saturated.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am in the process of rebranding. Just got my new logo, and the website will be coming early next year.
Cool.
So yeah, it's just haven't had time to
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
And the Instagram acts as a portfolio. So
yeah, absolutely.
But now I'm gonna, I'll look a little bit more professional.
I know some wedding photographers that have not had websites and they did just fine. And I mean, I get it. Like, I don't go to anyone's website ever.
I know. I always go to their Instagram first, even restaurants and stuff.
I know. I don't. No way. Yeah,
I know. That's so. It was the start of it, and it just kind of, took off.
Wow.
So,
cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I highly recommend having a website.
Of course.
Yeah. No, for SEO purposes alone.
Yes. But you don't have to.
Yeah. I love that.
Obviously.
I love that. Look at you. You're so cool. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay, cool. So do you have any other questions? I have a couple others.
I have like a final one, so I'll let you
Okay.
go first.
I hope we don't have the same one.
Maybe.
So
I'm really excited.
would you say you love what you do?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you see yourself kind of like continuing down this road indefinitely?
Yes.
Like pretty much like there's no other plan. This is it. You feel good.
I feel really good about it. I feel that I would like to explore options of not necessarily living in LA, but being able to travel more for work.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's, I mean, I know many photographers that, live in the Pacific Northwest and travel down here or vice versa with like New York and Colorado. So I've been a California girl all my life. But it would be nice to, spice it up a little bit. And
we love keeping it spicy around here.
Yeah. Still have the loft down here, but like, travel back and forth and kind of clump everything together. And
okay. Yeah. And so
pause.
Okay, go.
Speaking of the loft.
Yes.
So those of you listening on a podcast, you cannot see her cool loft, but she lives in her studio. It's sick as hell. It's so cool. So tell us the story about this space. And do you own it? Are you renting? How did you stumble upon it? Tell me everything about this freaking loft.
Totally. So about 7 years ago, Jake was actually living down the hall. And he, the lady who lived in here, was not a photographer. She was here for 15 years and all of a sudden she was like moving out. And so at this time, Jake and I were like, let's move in together. Let's, figure this out. And he wasn't ready to give up the loft life. I really wanted the loft life. So we like walked down the hall and this was here.
I can't believe a non-photographer was living in this space for 15 years.
It's insane. Like this is a 23-foot psych. Like it was just here. So, you walk in and you're just like, okay, like we need this.
Yes.
How do we happen upon this? And luckily, since he was a part of the building, it was really easy.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, we know you. Great. If you want to move in, move in. And so
amazing.
That was that. We, built out walls for our room. So it could be completely separate because basically what they let you do in these places is anything you want. You just have to get it approved. So you can, no wonder this psych was here. I'm assuming it was the photographer before the non-photographer.
Yeah.
But like, I just can't believe she just slept on it. So
yeah, that's so crazy.
I just want to know what was going through her mind when she saw it
I
for the first time.
know.
She was like, oh,
Yeah.
what a cool, unique design.
Yeah, like,
Yes.
wow.
I could have my bedroom right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Next
What
to the
style
window.
is this?
I know.
So crazy. That's so funny.
So yeah, so we moved in here about 7 years ago.
Awesome.
So you rent it?
Rented, yes.
Yeah.
And then actually fun, quarantine project. I'll show you guys since you can see, but see how it's like the raw cement? So it used to be like this ugly gray garage color. And so for 10 days, Jake and I used paint thinner and scraped the whole entire studio.
It looks great.
Yeah, so we could have the raw concrete, which elevated the studio so much. And we were like going to pay someone to do it, but we're like, we're doing nothing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh my gosh, cool.
How awesome.
Yeah. So,
cool.
fun art projects.
Yeah.
Whoa. So cool.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your next
You
question?
have other questions.
Okay, so I just want to know, like, if someone wants to get into editorial work, which a lot do, especially like wedding photographers, I think most of us are pretty burnt out coming out of like the last 2 years.
Absolutely.
How do you recommend, like, where do people start in like trying to like get into this world?
Absolutely. Testing is a great thing. Get in contact with modeling agencies, get in contact with hair and makeup, and get in contact with a stylist. In doing that, just start with a half day, don't make it too crazy. Start with a half day, like get her in hair and makeup, choose a style for your shoot. This is all free based for everyone. Usually the photographer ends up taking a little bit more because you want to bring snacks and water and all that jazz, but it's still considered like your work. So just bring all the pieces together, play around with lighting. So that's going to be like your biggest pull. Like obviously natural lighting is still amazing and you should still incorporate that in every shoot. I often do with, cause I try and shoot film every time I shoot as well. So I'll usually tend to use natural light for the film. And then the rest of the stuff, depending on where we are, we will use like artificial. I would rent, they're called B10s. They're like portable pro photos. I can't remember how much they go for each day. But I would, use that as your little cost to like kind of put into yourself and rent some lighting each time.
Cool.
And play around with it. And then just make sure you're posting it constantly and tagging every one of your team members. And again, still getting more and more, into the modeling agencies. Cause that's where because you're giving them images for their book, which is awesome. So
you just reach out and you're like, do you have any models who would want to do like test shoots with me?
And you're going to get some pretty green models, very, very new models at first, because this is your start of your relationship with the agencies. And then with that too, reach out on Instagram as well. I've done a lot of tests where either a model has reached out to me on Instagram or I've reached out to them and they're like, oh, I would love that. So sometimes you don't have to go through the agency, but it is good to build those relationships with the agencies.
Yeah.
As well as
totally.
If you see that person that you're like, oh my God, I have to shoot with this person and they're down and they like your style, they'll just immediately be like, yeah, sure. Let's do one,
Cool.
So, and then sometimes they have teams. Like I've had some models build a team for me and be like, hey, can you show up and like shoot this? And I'm like, okay, like sounds great.
Yeah.
And so, it's just a beautiful way to test light, because that's really what's going to, separate you is the light, your personality on set, and then also to just creating those contacts. So just have a lot of fun with it and shoot some film. I'm that's the reason I got into, photography was darkroom class in high school. Like just watching your photo develop and be like, how is this even possible?
The science actually freaks me out sometimes.
Oh, totally.
Like it makes no sense.
No, none of it makes sense.
None of it makes sense.
But yeah, I would just highly recommend just shooting film like all the time.
Cool.
You learn light, you see things differently. I can't tell you how many times I've like been, shooting digital, and then all of a sudden I'll hop over to my film camera, shoot a few shots and see something else. And I'm like, wait a minute, we got to get this on digital,
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so cool.
It's good to switch up the lens that you're looking through, or the, just the camera you're looking through.
Wow. Yeah. That is so cool, and such a different process from like everything I do and have ever done. So that's like so exciting and interesting.
You guys should do a test shoot together.
We
really should. Yeah.
Gabe, you have the space.
Yeah.
Split the cost of the lighting rental.
Yeah.
Like get some cool outfits.
Like we just shoot each other.
Yeah, I got plenty.
No, and that, a big part of that was when we were, in photo school, we shot friends.
Yeah.
We played around with light and we photographed friends.
Yeah.
But there's so many like accessible, now we have Instagram, now we have, now we're down in an area where there's, modeling agencies. So
totally.
Definitely test it out.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh, cool. And so compare the work you do to like your experience shooting weddings. Like, were you like, whoa, I hate that and I'm never doing that again? Or did you kind of like shooting weddings because it was different? Or like, what did you think?
So weddings for me, like I started weddings actually at the same time as I started fashion photography.
Okay.
And I did it I shot it with a best friend that actually moved back to India. And now I shoot it with my other best friend. So it's honestly like a really dope excuse to like travel with my best friend. And then on top of that, we bring some of like the fashion editorial. I think that's really important to bring that and separate yourself in the wedding business, is having that kind of, pizzazz that fashion and editorial can bring to the table for weddings. Yeah. So I feel like that kind of transfers over, and weddings are supposed to be fun. So I'm really selective with the clients that I take, because it's not my bread and butter.
Right.
So if, I'm not feeling it, like it's not going to happen.
I love that. I love that. And also like everyone wants to feel like amazing on their wedding day, like they want to feel like a model-ish or like, so like, I love the idea, like Gabe said this to me one time, where I think wedding photographers, for a while it was easy to kind of like put their nose up at like the idea of editorial, like it should all be journalistic or whatever, which we've like kind of debunked. Like that doesn't really mean anything, because my background is journalism, and I'm like, what we're doing
all BS.
Here is not journalism.
You're like, this isn't it.
This isn't it, you guys. And one time Gabe was like, I'm incorporating more editorial. This was like a year ago. You were like, I'm incorporating more editorial into my wedding work because people want to feel that good. Like they want to, and they want us to use the word journalistic, but like they want to feel that good.
No, they do.
And so that like changed my mind to that. Like I was like, oh my God, you're right. Like people do want to feel fucking amazing.
Yes. Well,
yeah.
And a big thing too is, and one of my teachers taught us this at Brooks too, it's, the art of subtle. So like just the subtlest movements, even telling your bride to just, cant a little this way or cant a little that way. Shooting editorials will create that space where, you're, learning more how to pose people in a safe space, not on the wedding day, in the midst of it. Like,
well, I love that.
So you kind of have, just like, you guys do like, what are they called? Like there are editorials for wedding. Like how do we say it? Like
the portraits,
like the styled shoots, like, when you bring in, that's a great way to do that too. If people were really interested in working with, doing like fashion editorials, it's like everyone should be doing styled shoots.
Right.
Because,
totally,
learning those like tiny movements are just going to make your bride and anyone out there just feel so special, because they're gonna
and it's too hard, like you're saying, it's too hard to do that in the moment on the madness of a wedding day. Like you have to practice directing people and like walking people through those micro adjustments. Like you have to practice that outside of the wedding day, because in the heat of the moment it's not going to happen.
Okay, well, I'm going to actually pull out something that Faye said to me during their engagement shoot, said to me and Jake too. because you were saying to me as I was shooting you, I distinctly remember this, and I love the way that you said it. You were like, oh, Gabe, like make sure my arm doesn't look weird when I do this. And Jake was like, Faye, like you look great. Like your arm's not gonna look weird. And you were like, even skinny people can like look, you know, different when depending on like how your arm looks.
Yes.
It's all like, people like models know how to pose themselves, and we're seeing a lot more. And we're seeing a lot more on Instagram too. I've been seeing these awesome TikToks of like these like fitness like gurus who will like pose themselves in like the way that they know makes their body look good, and then they'll just like stand how they normally stand, and they're like see like, look, I know how to pose myself.
Different.
Like obviously like, you know, they're fit as well, but there is like an art to posing too. Absolutely. That people just don't really understand.
Yes. Yeah. And I think wedding photographers could take it more seriously.
We could take it way more seriously and actually learn those things, because our goal is to make people look as flattering as possible too.
Absolutely.
And you can't do that every second of the day, obviously, but like when you have the chance to take that time and like create that, like that photo that everyone's going to hang on their fridge and like send to everyone, it's so valuable for us to know how to do those things.
And I think for someone who shoots like me too, like the practice of like slowing down and shooting less frantically and like shooting less but better.
And again, I'll go back to like tethering. Like that's why I want you both to like try it.
She says we have to. We got to do it.
So, like you
we'll
know,
do
we'll do it. Whatever you say, whatever you say, we'll do it.
I can't wait to see. Please send me videos. But you learn more about your angles and like how you're shooting and how you don't need to be rapid firing. Although, you know, I say rapid fire for kiss or any movement, especially on a wedding day. But like for that, you learn even more because you're seeing it big instantly, and you're kind of like, whoa, okay. Actually, if I was to move a little bit to the left and like take a deep breath and like, you know, move the arm this way, then we're good. So just, you know, really that'll slow you down, because the computer can't take you rapid fire. Like it can, like, but it shouldn't. You're not going to see it in real time. So,
I see what you're saying. Totally. Totally.
So you'll take a deep breath.
Whoa.
Love that.
I have like so many ideas after our conversation. Like I just feel like I'm like buzzing. Like I'm like,
you're like, what's next?
I'm like, oh my God. I have so many ideas. Oh my God. Any last things you want to ask her?
No, I think we covered it all.
Is there anything we should have asked you that you were like,
any last thoughts?
You fucked up that you didn't ask about this?
No, I mean, I think that all I can say is just enjoy shooting. Take a deep breath, and you know that you're gonna fuck up sometimes. So it's okay.
Are we?
Okay.
I don't like that.
Like, no, it's okay. You learn from it, and relationships are the most important thing. So remember that it's a small world. So don't try. Don't be mean.
For real.
Yes.
Be a good person.
I love that. That's very true. Even in a place like LA, it's a small world.
It's a small world. Yeah. So just take a deep breath and hang out. And be positive.
Yay.
Whoa. Let's not scoot over that. Life advice mantra. Just take a deep breath and hang out. That's the title of this episode. Take a deep breath and hang out.
And hang out with Felicia Lasala.
Hang out with me.
Oh, that just made me stoked. Okay, amazing.
No, but like really, like you have to come hang out with me.
Yes. We know.
So
like invitation happening.
Yes.
Let's go in January.
Perfect.
It's decided.
Perfect.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Yes, please. Yes, please.
We'll do.
All my friends miss you, so I may want to hang out with you.
I miss them all so much.
They'll like me too.
I have so many distinct
they'll
memories.
love you.
They'll love Cami, of course. Cool. Well, we love you, Faye, and
we love you.
Seriously, so thankful that you hopped on this episode with us. It's gonna be so fun for people to listen to. People are gonna love this. They're gonna love listening to this and just getting like a taste into a world that a lot of them just aren't familiar with. And I think it's always just really cool to see success stories and to see, you know, how stuff like this is possible. And I think all of us as artists, just in general, I mean, I don't know about you. I mean, I know Jake grew up in a very artistic family, so maybe he didn't get as much pushback. But like we, you know, growing up getting pushback for wanting to pursue like an artistic dream, right?
Absolutely.
That is something all of us has dealt with. And so it's just cool to like see these success stories and then in different like realms of the artistic community. And then also just, you know, we can do it. And it is gonna be fine.
Yeah. Just take a deep breath and hang out.
Yeah. Well, and you know, on that note too, like, you know, just not coming from an artistic family, like just do what's right by you. Like, you know, it's like give and take though. So like for me, I went to regular college before I went to art school. And that was something that my parents wanted. They were like, please just go experiment and see if this is truly what you want before we spend thousands of dollars on an artistic career. And I'm like, you know what? I can appreciate that.
That's fair.
I'll do that for you. And then I applied and got in and they were like, absolutely go. Like you did,
amazing.
You know, so it's a give and take, like try everything out first because, you know, sometimes it can be hard. So just, you know, like you said, take a deep breath and hang out.
Dude, yes.
New life motto.
I know. Now I'm gonna have to get that tattooed on my other.
I heard you said it.
Yeah. From the newest philosopher.
Yes.
Wow, who said that?
Wow, she's amazing.
I believe it was Felicia Lasala.
Wow, someone with that name would say that.
See, I can't give up my last name.
Yeah, no, you can't. As exciting as Schmidt is, it's just not Lasala.
Not Lasala. I asked him if he wanted to take it. It's like,
did he consider?
He considered, but I get it. Like there's plenty of bloodline on both sides. It's not
of course.
You know?
Of course.
Yeah.
So it's cool.
Amazing.
Okay, well, thank you once again, everyone, for joining us.
Yes.
We know that you learned so much from Felicia today, just like we did. And we are, like, you know, excited to see you all put it into practice too.
Yes.
So without, you know, we'll see you next week.
Okay, bye.
Bye.